welcome to yet another YouTube video here on this channel. In today's video we are diving into the Tana AMA. They recently had an AMA where they went through some of the roadmap going forward, some of the overall ideas behind the application, where it is headed, and some of the main goals and visions around the application. And I'm going to take you through all of the most important things, and I'm also going to give you my thoughts around them. And if you have any thoughts yourself, please do comment them down below. I would love to have a discussion, but uh, that's what I'm going to discuss and take on in today's video. Also, if you have any questions, do leave them down below and I will try to get to them as soon as I can. Now, let's jump into why this AMA happened in the first place. So there have been uh, a lot of negativity around the fact that Tana hasn't necessarily updated its community enough, or at least that's what a lot of people have felt like, without me actually knowing how much Tana did update their community, because I can't be inside of every community and look at how much the applications are interacting. But that's one of the things that I've at least heard from some Tana users, and it makes sense because they released their pricing, their first pricing plan, and then they had to go all out to deliver a mobile application. And like they said in the AMA, a lot of people moved away or cancelled their Tana subscription simply because there wasn't a fully functioning mobile application. They did show some of what they're working on with the mobile application and what it looks like right now. That's not probably not how it will end up looking in the end, but I completely understand that because as a user, you're not actually sure what you're getting in the mobile application, and then dedicating a lot of effort to building out a system inside of that note-taking app, and then having a mobile app that doesn't necessarily fit you can become really, really annoying. So I understand that people canceled their subscription, and I also understand that Tana put everyone into making this mobile application happen as soon as possible. But that ended up with not enough updates going out, and there is also one other major thing that needs to be kept in the back of people's mind, and that is the fact that uh, most of the Tana team, or at least a lot of the Tana team, lives in Norway. And in July in Norway, we have summer vacation, which means that everything is closed. It is impossible to get hold of anyone. And I literally mean impossible. Everything is closed, nothing is working properly. So we have this happen every single year, that companies are hard to get hold of, and that is probably one of the things that Tana experienced as well in July with the summer break in Norway and having a lot of their team on a summer break. So that is also just something to have in the back of your mind if you're a Tana user and you're unhappy with the updates. But they did this AMA and they promised that there will be a lot more coming forward, a lot more AMAs and a lot more uh, interactivity with the community, which I find important. So that's why we ended up having this AMA in the first place, and I think that it is really important for Tana to do it. Because, like in most cases, I do not recommend people jumping towards beta applications, especially closed beta applications, because they might change and they might stop working, they might get acquired, they might run out of funding, and you've spent a lot of time and energy, invested a lot of that into building out your system, and suddenly the app doesn't work or isn't there anymore. But in order to combat that for these new companies, it is really important to be transparent with their community. And Tana promised more transparency and more openness going forward. So that's um, the overall idea behind the AMA, but let's jump into some of the features and the vision behind Tana. So, one of the major things that Tana wants to help you with is going from input to output, which is the whole idea of a knowledge management system, like inputting something in order to get an output on the other side. In my case, just to use me as an example, I take notes in order to publish videos. Basically, that's what I do, also blog posts. In your case, that might be presentations, it might be something else, but input in order to get an output. That's the whole idea of knowledge management system. And Tana also wants to do things differently. They want to reimagine how computers and humans work together, which is a big vision to have, and which also explains why they had to take on investors. And that comes down to the next point, or we can jump into the next point, which is the fact that Tana has a lot of runway. At least that's what they are saying. They are sustainable for years, which is important for users. As I said, we don't want to put a lot of effort into an application that suddenly disappears and it's gone. So they are sustainable for years. When it comes to the plans going forward, they were hoping to get the mobile app um, sorted out earlier, but it looks like it is coming in late September, and that will also be once the mobile application comes out, they will go into an open beta. Right now, you have still have to get an invite code to get inside of Tana. Most people can get an invite code just by jumping into the community and asking for one, but after late September, early October, they will jump out of the closed beta into public beta. So we will remove that. We will remove that invite code, and it will become a lot easier to just jump into the application and start using it. But there are a couple of things that are on the roadmap as well. As I said, mobile application is the most important, but there are also things like making Tana easier for users. I've talked about this a lot. Tana is still like really hard to learn. It still takes a while to understand and learn the application, and it is great to have all of these features, but if a user can't actually use all of these features, it becomes useless. So they are and they need to do something about the learning curve having a much better onboarding experience. And there are many ways to do this. One of the ways, like Notion has done it, is actually using influencers to post a lot of content so it becomes easier to learn through YouTube videos. That's one way. There are many ways of doing it. And Tana is now working on like a better onboarding experience. Another thing which I think every mobile or every productivity and note-taking application struggle with is how fast the application is. And one of the things Tana is working on is making Tana faster, and that is something we all want from these online applications. That applications need to be faster, and we don't want to see the wheel of that and just loading on forever. That is one of the major issues with applications like Notion. And with that and the whole like idea of making Tana faster and fixing a lot of the infrastructure, we will also have some support for offline use cases. So Tana will provide some support for offline use cases. It is important to note that support for offline use cases does not actually mean local first. And I think one of the reasons, and that was also mentioned inside of the AMA, one of the reasons that Tana hasn't thought about this earlier is because, again, in Norway there is internet connection almost everywhere. On top of, you find internet connections on top of mountains. So we might be a little arrogant when it comes to internet connection, and that's the same thing for a lot of my videos. I talk a lot about the fact that offline accessibility isn't important to me because I almost always have like an internet connection. So that may be one of the reasons why Tana took their time on getting to this. They are also going to strengthen the core features of Tana with a focus on workflows. So there was mentioned something around the status field, but the main idea of this is a lot more focus on workflows inside of Tana. And the last thing they mentioned on the roadmap going forward is unlocking the AI in Tana and making the AI even better and easier. As I've said before, and as Tana said before, one of the main like features behind it is the fact that it has AI and it has a really good AI and a lot of good AI use cases. So that's a lot of the main points on the roadmap going forward. I would still recommend you going and looking at the AMA. It was around 1 hour and 2 minutes long, so I've tried to make it a lot shorter, but I can't cover all of the points in 12 or 13 minutes. But that was everything from Tana's AMA. If you have any questions, anything you want to discuss, please do comment it down below. And I hope, as usual, I hope to see you again quite soon. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any other applications you want me to cover, comment down below as well. And I hope to see you again quite soon.